The night has come.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is December the 15th, 2025. Welcome to the Light Gate. We are contacting you through the UPRN network at 107.7 FM in the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana, and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. We come to you from Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and YouTube. I want to thank our sponsors, Carnation. Thank you very much. We love you guys. Everything you do is awesome and yummy. And when you walk in the store, it should be everywhere you look. All the Carnation products. It's great for Christmas time. Okay, Preston, we are live and we are the only ones here tonight. This is,
all right.
It's always weird for me to do this, you know?
Sorry, I'm still catching up. I had a computer crash, so I'm a little bit out of sorts, but trying to get on track here. Okay, I think I'm ready. Because you might notice my lighting is a little bit different, my position, but we'll get that all adjusted as time goes on. Let me see. All right, thank you, Dolly. Where's my cursor? Hold on. All right. Okay, I'm good. At least I tried to be.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us on episode 139 of The Light Gate. Super excited that you could join us tonight. This is a rare Q&A episode. We love doing these. We don't do them very often, but we try to do it at least, once every other month or so?
Something like that, yeah.
So we do have some great guests lined up for you next week and beyond that. But today we are doing a Q&A, and you are our favorite guests. So I already see some questions in chat already, but please don't be shy. Let's get those questions lined up and let's have some fun. Now, for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, I, of course, am your host, Preston Dennett. I've been researching UFOs since 1986, when I found out my older brother, Mark, saw a UFO. And I've come to believe he was probably taken on board because he found a little implant in his arm not long after that. My sister has had encounters, so there's 6 kids in our family. That's half of us. So I think there's something going on there in terms of generational contact. But after finding out that my brother had contact, I became a UFO researcher. I joined MUFON, became a field investigator for MUFON, started writing articles, wrote about 30 of them before I put out my first book in 1996 called UFO Healings. Since then, I've written over 30 books and working on a couple of others right now. And that's my story in a nutshell. So, Dolly, you want to tell our listeners a little bit about you for those who might not have heard of you? Don't know where they've been if they haven't, but...
My name is Dolly Safran. I'm a generational contactee. I've had constant contact my entire life, even from the moment of birth, just about. I have been, my contact when I was younger was sporadic. In other words, I was choppy with it, but I had full-on memories that I knew was happening to me. When I was 14, I was trying to prove to myself that I could remember completely all the time. I have an eidetic memory, and I should have been able to do that, and I had to work at it. And so when I was 14, I finally officially reached the point where I could, and now I'm 24/7 awake. I learned to pilot craft with ET. Took me 4 years. I'm now, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I'm almost 68 now. Woo! And I've been flying since I was 19. I've had many adventures with ET, and I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot here too. That's about it. Found Preston, told him my story. Took him 6 years to vet me. He wrote the book, and here we are on the Light Gate. Ta-da!
I just fixed our names. You had my name under you, so I fixed that. Thank you, whoever saw. I
Wow, that was weird. I know.
Okay, probably due to, I think I used your computer while mine was down, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
Okay, yeah. It's a Q&A tonight. Want to say a quick hello to all you folks in chat. We're going to have some fun tonight. We are, of course, doing a book giveaway, but that doesn't start until the top of the hour. I've got a secret number written down, and I think we're going to have all kinds of fun with that. Let me just make sure I have that secret number here. I do. This is going to be the book we're giving away. Undersea UFO Base. It's the study of USOs in the Santa Catalina Channel and several cases elsewhere. There's been a lot of interest in USOs lately, so that should be fun. If by chance you already have that book and you win, you can always choose another, because I do have quite a few books you can choose from. But yeah, we're doing a giveaway. There will be 3 winners. I also do have a couple of quick announcements. Our hearts and prayers go to the folks in Australia who went through that terrible tragedy. So sorry. It's a crazy world these days, but love is the answer, and we all need to unite in love.
And also, we would like to mention the people in at Brown University. So many people were injured there as well. Our hearts are with you also. We are living in tragic times. People have begun to overreact to everything, and we're not doing okay. Also would like to say condolences to the Reiner family. That was very tragic as well, and it just seems like everything is happening all at once, and I'm kind of hoping that we could all like join together maybe and send some goodwill out there and some positivity and help calm the situation down.
For sure. Yeah. I also have one other quick announcement. I'm still doing translations into all different languages of subtitles and captions on my YouTube channel. Learning how to do this, it's a long learning curve, but I found another thing that people have been requesting me to do, which is create playlists. So I've created about 10 or 15 different playlists to help navigate the episodes on my YouTube channel. I just did one for UFOs in your hometown. I've got 14 episodes of that. But if you're interested in onboard UFO encounters or USOs or humanoids or healing cases, I've got all these different playlists. So that will help you guys to navigate, because I'm got upwards, gosh, I think it's like 400 or 300 videos at this point. So yeah, just a quick announcement there. But let's see who we've got going here in chat. And the first one is me. It's open mic night. Get your questions in early, and don't forget we're doing a book giveaway contest with 3 winners.
Thank you, Brett.
We have Astrid Guder, open mic, my favorite. Teresa Lavine.
Hi. Yeah.
Barris says hello to all from Sydney.
Hello.
The lovely Louise, one of our regulars. Light Gator friends. I love that term.
Yeah.
Thank you, Louise. Who else do we got here? I'm going to go quickly. We have Daniel Nordine. I'm flagged your question here. Cherise Bazilla.
Cherise. Little
Dove.
Hi.
And Santra Rebel. I'm going to put a star next to that. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh, I'm putting you to you questions, Santra. Thank you. We love questions on Q&A. Hello, Ruthie. Hi, Bob Thorson.
Hi. Hi, Bob.
Sonny Burnett. Thank you so much.
Sonny, thank you very much.
All the wonderful donations, you guys.
Namaste.
Absolutely appreciated. Namaste. We
you.
love you very much. Thank you, Bob Thorson. So generous of you guys. Thank you. Thank you. It helps us so much. Hello, Michael Kennedy. We love you dearly. We have Patsy Foister.
Hi, Patsy.
And let's see, who else do we got here? Emily Howard and Stargazer.
Hey.
Texas Cacti sliding into the room.
Okay.
We got Ogaz Hanardich from Sydney, Australia.
Hello.
Nice. We got
Hello.
Von Randewolf. Hello, all. Maybe from England.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. Hello.
We have Lynn MFTS. Lynn Nips.
Hello. Yeah.
We got Punkus from Manchester, UK, staying up late
Oh
for us.
my
Thank you.
goodness, a lot of you. Okay. Thank you.
Fox Mulder, the Owl Man. We got
Hey, oh man.
Carl Mids from England, Stan.
England stud. Okay.
Tim
Wow.
Houston. We got Martin Rivera. Martin, we're
Hey,
gonna have to get you back on the show. We've had you on a few
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You're such a fun guest. I'm gonna
I
reach out.
know. Look for me to contact you, okay?
Okay, we got Microvio. Oh,
Mm.
yes, we changed the name. So thank you, Microvio. You were the one who noticed it first. Lucky Luciano, thank you for
Oh,
joining us.
molto bella.
I think that's most of the people I have. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to you. I see Charlie C3D, Daniel Nordine. No guesses yet, you guys. I'm seeing guesses. They don't count yet. I'm not
Don't go
counting
there.
any guesses for the secret number until the top of the hour. Okay? No guesses yet. Stressing me out.
My goodness. Oh my. Okay.
Okay, I think, we have, Chris. Hey,
Hi.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Hi. Good to see you.
We have CSD UFO updates. What's
Hey.
up? Oh, these are some good questions. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love it. Okay. Who else do we got? Oh, I'm putting stars next to these questions, so please be patient with me. Fox of the Jedi. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
We're ready. Let me just put a few more. Start a few more questions. So trying to catch up. You guys are really coming fast, so that's good. My bud, hello. Emily Howard, Scarlet Fire. I'm late from Boston.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Scarlett.
The Spanksy Fox, Joe Umbu from chilly Melbourne, Florida. Yeah, it is chilly.
Melbourne. I love Melbourne. Oh yeah, it's cold there right now. Right?
Okay.
You caught the cold wave.
Preston, you pronounced it perfectly. I was wondering, actually. Brian W. saw you on Jeff Mara. Pretty cool. I love Jeff. He is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Tried to get him on our show, but he's just too darn busy. Okay. I think I've caught up with all the questions and the hellos. So, all right. I guess we should just get started. And I thought we would start, Dolly, by talking a little bit before we jump into the questions about that recent film we both saw and actually spent the $20-some on.
It was $17. I got it on sale.
Oh,
So
well,
Amazon Prime. I got it.
I'm glad you did. The Age of Disclosure, which was sort of billed as being the show that's going to end the UFO cover-up and change everything. And of course, what is it, 2 weeks later now? There's still a cover-up. Not a whole lot has changed. But, my opinion of the show is that there's some good parts about it and some really bad parts. Initially, I was quite excited to see quite a few of these pretty high-level people within government and the military-industrial complex, frankly, are not my friends, and they're on my naughty list. So these are kind of like people who are somewhat towing the party line, should I say. But amazing to see them treating this subject with absolute seriousness. And these are very high-level people with unimpeachable resumes. That, to me, was the good part. This subject is finally being taken seriously. It's being talked about in official circles. But then, as I continued, Dolly's probably going to have a little bit of a different opinion than me on this, coming from a contactee angle and also a military insider. I started to hear the term national security threat quite a bit. Started counting it, in fact. And after it got up to like 10 I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting a little bit fear-based. So that started to really upset me because, as you guys know, I don't think ETs are here to hurt, harm, or take over. Don't think the evidence supports that. I'm not saying people don't have scary encounters, but to call them a threat to our welfare, I think, is a bit of a stretch. So that upset me. And I also felt that the whole narrative was a bit stilted in that, no, they're not really talking about ETs themselves. They're talking kind of in circles. And I think Dolly's probably got a little bit more to say about the fact that, there should have been more focus on the fact that most of what they were talking about wasn't even ET, but was reverse engineered craft. But yeah, well, I don't know. I can't fully recommend it, but it was interesting. So what do you say, Dolly?
All right. Well, I'm going to preface this. I'm going to say it as nicely as I can. There's really no way for me to go through this and say what I think about it without telling you the absolute truth about how I feel about it. I'm going to focus on Grush right now. He's a great guy, I'm sure. And he is in a very, very sticky situation that he's in. I'm not sure that all of it is due to his own narrative or his wanting to push forward something. I am fairly decently sure that Mr. Grush was pushed out into doing this, first of all. Second of all, it didn't go well for him when he did. And now he is outside the fence again, not inside. And it's by his own handling of the situation or theirs or a mutual agreement that he would be in the position that he is. The film focused on him like he is an American hero. No, I would not call that heroism in any way, shape, or form. Heroism to me is somebody who has taken the oath and put their lives on the line against all enemies, foreign or domestic. He has not done that. He is an information person, and he is not directly informed. He has no exact direct experience whatsoever, except that would be in a skiff seeing things secondhand. So let's not make that mistake. Second of all, at no time and nowhere in this film did they at all give you any real documented evidence of anything. They hinted at, they talked around, they threw out, but they did not directly give any evidence whatsoever. They did not give any proof whatsoever. They relied heavily on old documented cases, not new documented cases. And the couple things that they were showing were simply, purely, and I'm not joking around about this, when you're showing gun camera footage of their equipment and they're calling it ET, that riles my guts up pretty bad. At no time and in no place have they shown you real ET footage to my knowledge. I've seen a lot of it, and every time I see them put something out, it is theirs, not ours. There are plenty of people on this planet who can back that up. No kidding. I'm not going to name names tonight, but we've had them on our show, so think about that one. This is a negative narrative to push the heroism of whistleblowers, okay? They have not brought in any real tangible evidence whatsoever. And the congressmen are hog-tied because they can't come out either. We have two that are talking right now that have stated plainly, point blank, that if they were to say anything, their lives would be over. And that's true. So we all know that they're still being suppressed, that this information is still plausible deniability all the way through, and that the narrative is heavily, heavily, heavily documented and pushed into a narrative. That film was, well edited, well planned, well thought out, well narrated, and at no time were there any genuinely stated facts in it, period. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't waste my time because it is a fear-mongering narrative, and it is all about the national security problems with them and UFOs. I'm going to tell you something personally from my point of view as the person that I am, the life that I've lived, and the contact that I've had, point blank. They don't know, and they're trying to figure out who ET is still to this day. They've back engineered a lot of stuff, and they have a pretty good idea of what they're dealing with, and it's monstrously huge and large, and they don't know how to deal with it either. They're scared to death. They're paranoid as heck. And there are other things that are occurring planet-wide that they can't control either. So their narrative, their control, everything on us is supreme, and it's not going to change. They're going to keep baiting and switching you all the way through all of this until you know for a fact that what some of us have been saying is absolutely true, because the day's coming. It will happen. There will be no turning back after that. And I supremely hope that everybody listens to what we say, does their homework, and figures out how they're going to deal with all of this, because it isn't ET that is our problem. It is them. Period. Mic drop.
Yep.
I'm telling you. You want to know why contactees are not in those congressional hearings? Because none of us would say anything that they are saying. None of us would come out with any of it. None of us.
I've come to realize that, I've always said the force behind the cover-up is greed, power, and control. But actually, I think a big part of it is the fact that we do have this technology. We're flying this stuff around. We're faking UFOs, and that's the last thing they want people to know.
Now I want to preface this with this. This is all smoke and mirrors, folks, and they're dragging you off what the point is to all of this. There is such a thing as ET. They've been trying to get our attention for a long time, your attention. They got mine. They've been trying to teach you inadvertently in a roundabout way without directly interfering with your autonomy on this planet. But the three things that I can tell you about ET is they're working very hard, not ET, the other guys, to stop you from using your abilities, from realizing what the truth is, and from exceeding the boundaries of their control over you. Those are the big top three. You need to work on yourselves. You need to heal. You need to use your abilities. You need to become awake and aware and know what the truth really is. And the only way you can do that is to start working on it right now. And while you're too busy listening to all their, you're not paying attention to what you should be doing. That's the point. That's the whole point of this. It's the whole point of why I came out. Is stop watching this show, this dog and pony show that they have. Nothing they say is real. Nothing. None of it. Not at all. Okay, I'm done.
We're trying hard to steer the narrative. Yep. Don't look to them for answers. All right, let's get started. You ready, Dolly? We got a lot of questions here.
Sure.
Okay, we'll start with Sunny Burnett. Thank you again for the very generous donation. We truly appreciate it. Open mic night is a favorite. The question is, how long before the poles flip or the sun burps? Well, you're the expert on that compared to me.
I am not the expert, but I know enough about it that I can speak toward it. I pay homage to Ben Davidson because he is an expert. I've always directed you all to go listen to him and watch his playlist and learn as much as you can. You should every day. Every one of you need to learn from this guy. He's got a huge playlist. Start at the beginning and work your way through it. But to give you a general idea, is there's no way to predict anything. We are overdue for a CME that's going to down us. Our magnetosphere is at least 40% down right now. Now they're saying that it might be even worse than that. Our poles are not finished changing yet, not at all. We got closer to, depending on how fast they decide to go. And this is the problem. Nature's nature. It's going to do what it's going to do. Okay. When energy's incoming on our solar system and then our sun's giving energy and then we're taking heavy loads, there's a circuit. We bing, 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 like pinball right off of one another. Our poles could change rapidly or they could slow down again. Right now, we're in a phase where it has been rapidly advancing every 5 years or so. It doubles in the speed that they are changing, but we're still looking at a couple of years yet before they completely go and do the thing. In the meantime, we have all these anomalies going on because of it, because now we have chaotic energy in our magnetosphere and everything's all over the place. One of the things I can point to is the South American anomaly. That is where probably our new South Pole is going to be. Just saying. Okay. And it's like a crazy zone because there's a great big hole of nothingness, energy, but every now and then something really pops off in it and they have no way of telling how or why or when that's going to happen. That's because our magnetosphere is so chaotic. When I say magnetosphere, this is the emission of all the electromagnetic energy from the core of the earth coming out in waves. Okay. We have north and we have south pole, and we have the north pole waves going like this, and we have the south pole going this, and it creates an electromagnetic barrier to push away certain types of radiation and sleuth it around us. 40% down means that now we have problems because that energy can leak through. Big holes in our magnetosphere show up because the the energy doesn't stay solidly placed out. It shows little holes and it comes through. The more earth-facing a CME is for us, even a small one, like an X-class CME, X-class 5 could do some real damage to this planet. If it's earth-facing, it doesn't change polarity as it's coming in, and we have solar wind affecting the push of it coming in faster. It's really complicated. That's why I say, look at Ben Davidson's show and learn. So when you hear me talk, you go, oh yeah, she's right. She knows. I want you to know. I want you to learn this stuff.
All right. So my question would be then, just on a estimation basis, what would
between
be
now and 2030, you're going to see it happen. I'm guessing.
In terms of the poles flipping?
No, the CME downing our grid. The poles will finish flipping after that, and it might take about 7 years before they finish. And then our sun, because it's sluicing through an electromagnetic current sheet, is taking on junk and stuff on its surface, and it's going to go poof, and that's a micronova. And so we're looking at a micronova probably 2038. And in the meantime, you have no electricity, no way to take care of yourself, nothing to eat or drink unless you've already prepped for it. In the in-between time between that CME, the pole's changing, and the micronova.
All right.
So go learn.
Prep. That's the message here. Educate yourself and prep.
Yep.
All right. So now we're going to move to the next question, which is from Santra Rebel 369. I like this question. Why would little grays hide in a bathroom closet? At age 8, I found one there and was terrified. Before and after that event, I always searched the bathroom before brushing my teeth every night. Oh, this is interesting to me because this is a pattern I noticed very early on when I started interviewing people. People would have this incredible fear of the closet, and the little grays would come out of the closet into people's rooms. I've heard this, I say 100 times, dozens of times, literally dozens of times I've heard this. I'm just looking into another case right now where the guy was a tall gray this time. It came out of the closet. I don't know why, but I speculate that this is an area that they come in and out because there are probably not going to be people in there.
No.
But what
you
it does,
yeah, that like children are funky. They don't always go to sleep when they're supposed to go to sleep, and they'll lay there looking like they're asleep, and they're wide awake. They'll lay there for hours like that. Okay, there's no determining children how they're going to be sleeping. ET can hear you think, but it's hard to determine if you're awake or not. ET will like signal your brain and say something to you psychically and see how you react to know whether you're deep down in or not. Okay. Not all of us do that. And children especially don't, because they're wide open psychic. They're way more psychic than you've been practicing to be. They haven't been told no yet. And so ET will pick a place that's near them to wait to come in once they've gone out. Okay. And it's the ET AI, the little AI grays, they're biological AI. It's not that they're scared. They're not afraid of you at all. But it startles them to realize that you just opened a door on them and whoop, there it is. They know better than to approach a child who is scared, freaked out, and can either scream their head off and wake up everybody in the house or beat the heck out of them, because little kids are pretty good at that too. If you ever remember being on a playground, there's certain kids that can just come at you in seconds and let you have it. And if they're as tall as this small gray, they can take it apart limb by limb. So that's what's happening. It's literally staging, wait for you to go to sleep, so it doesn't scare the heck out of you. Make sure that you're, a little bit more out of it before they contact, so that they got enough time to get you aboard. So that's what that is. And then the kid knows it. They're awake. They remember the whole thing. And now they're looking for them. They won't forget. They're like, it's in the closet. I know. And they have to think of other ways to come. And that's what that is. They're just staging to pick you up. That's all it is.
All right. Because what it's caused is people to have closet phobia.
Or under the bed phobia, or in the wall phobia, or, behind the closet door phobia, or, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was a good question, because it's absolutely a pattern I see over and over again. And like I said, looking into a new case, which I'll be presenting on my next YouTube episode about humanoids. Okay. Thank you, Santra Rebel. And here is another question from Santra Rebel. And this one is, Why do aliens make people forget their experiences by choice or for protection? Can these memories return later when the time is right to fulfill a purpose on Earth?
Aliens don't make you do anything. You do it to yourself. Fear is a gatekeeper in your hippocampus. And your hippocampus is the gatekeeper of long-term memory and short-term memory. Okay. You got prefrontal cortex where you're analyzing everything, and then you have your hippocampus. And what happens is that you make the decision whether you're afraid or not in your prefrontal cortex. Okay. And if it's over the top, you might decide that no. And you freeze. You literally freeze. You can't do anything. Fight or flight hits you hard and you can't move. You go solidly frozen, and you won't remember after that. You shut your own brain down. The less fear you have, the more you remember. We only do it to ourselves. They have nothing to do with it. There is no quote agenda on their part to manipulate you in any way, shape, or form. It's all up to us how we respond to them and what we remember about them. Us, not them. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a controversial issue, but I agree with Dolly. It took me a long time to come to that. Because I think ETs will facilitate it. If you are an absolute terror, that's not what they're trying to do.
Right. They just let you go. They just let you do what you're going to do. That's it.
And
you want to call it facilitating, yeah.
And yes, people, because I've got several cases where people don't remember, and then at some point they do, and the ETs actually celebrate that they've actually come to awareness of their own encounters. And this is an important step because often it does start with a lot of fear and insomnia and even PTSD and the whole deal, partially because people aren't remembering, and that just causes even more fear.
Right.
Some people will have a cue or a trigger of some kind. They'll see the cover of the book Communion, and that brings the memories back. They're not erased, they're suppressed, and there's a number of reasons this can be. It can be because of trauma. It can be because you actually chose this, and the ETs facilitated it. It can also be because ETs, Dolly explained this to me once, and I thought, oh, well, that makes even more sense. When they bring you up into the craft and out with this energy beam, there's an interdimensional aspect to that. And it's very much the same difficulty of remembering a dream when you're coming from, quote, the astral dimensions. You know how dreams slip away so easily. But it's also something completely out of your worldview.
Right.
So that's another factor. There's a number of factors going on here, and it still remains controversial, even among contactees.
Yeah.
But
one of the things
Dolly, because she's got such extensive contact, and she's been there when people go dead and can't remember. They fall into the dream state. She's watched it happen.
Right. Electromagnetism, like, you get a CD, a floppy. You remember the old floppies? And if they had an electromagnetic thing go over them, like a magnet or whatever, it would deraz the whole thing. It would erase it, right? A compact disc is a little bit different because that information is put on like a laser. Instead of sound, they use light to put that information on. Anything you transmit can be erased electromagnetically. Well, guess what? Your brain is like a digital camera. It has memory, it stores things, it's electric currents going through it and things like that. And if you're in an electromagnetic environment, it's going to play with how your brains are doing things, okay? And going up with them in the beam, that's interdimensional travel. That can mess with your memory right off the bat. It can put you to sleep. It can make you forget things because you're being slightly, jostled around electromagnetically in that field. That's not easy to deal with. I had to learn to overcome how that works on me as well. So yeah, ETs, we're definitely vulnerable to the energies that they use and how they use them. That's why they don't come down hot, they come down cold, or they come up, like they'll drop into the sea, cool off, and they'll come back out because they're too hot and they're too electromagnetically charged and there's too much radiation and we'll mess with our heads and all our stuff and everything like that. It's serious, energy things going on. So I hope that helps.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good question. Okay, this one is from Charisse Bazilla. Question for Dolly. Have you ever heard of an ET with camouflage coloring, hooded eyes, cone-like ears on the top of the head, and a slit mouth with suction cup hands and feet. It gave the impression of a cat.
Well, not exactly like that, but I've seen feline-looking ETs. Definitely. Maybe this ET was wearing an outfit over their body and it looked weird to you. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything quite like that.
No.
Camouflage coloring, kind of, yes. Hooded eyes, you mean like the eyelids? Some will wear hoods, absolutely. Ears can come in all different shapes, even on people. So that the slit-like mouth is pretty common among reports of ETs. I have heard cases of people seeing suction cups on the fingers, but not like
right
hands so much.
No.
But the variation of, as Dolly calls it, ancestry is tremendous. We see it here on Earth, and it's even wider among the ETs. So,
you also have to ask yourself, what state were you in mentally when you saw this? Could it have been you writing over what you were actually seeing while you were seeing something? We do that a lot. We paradolize all kinds of things, and this might have been some way for you to understand what it was that you were seeing. I don't know. So I'd like to know all the particulars about it. You should write me and let's talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. Draw it. Drawing it would also be very helpful to try to visualize what you're talking about here.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Charisse. Let's move on to the next question. Oh, goodness. Dolly, we're already almost 40 minutes in. We better get going. Okay. This is from Astrid Guder. How do ETs handle the death of a loved one? What happens to their bodies? Do they have memorial services, or are the dead still around just in light bodies? I love that question, Astrid. I asked Dolly this.
Death is not a fearful thing for them. It's a natural part of their existence, just like it should be for us. Everybody dies. If you're in the third dimension and you have a body you're in, it will eventually give out and you will leave it. We're always here for the babies to be born, but we're not always as present for people to travel beyond. ETs are not like that. They are always present for that. They always have almost like a half gathering together while the person is transitioning, and they will often OBE with them to help them go through, follow them across to make sure that they're fine and their transition is a good one. They are spiritually evolved to the point that they see life and death at the same time. It's not a big deal to them. All parts of who you are, your consciousness is who they are, and they live in it. They live in the fact that they have a body when they have a body, and they live in the fact that once the body is done and they move on, that they're still themselves, and they just transition across and they do the next thing for themselves. It is not a big deal at all. There's no loss of, there's no grieving. It's all joy for them, all of it. It's incredible. They don't have memorial services. Why would you memorialize somebody that you're still in contact with all the time? I'm not kidding you. You don't need to. They're there. They can interact with them even after death. The body. They usually go to cremation. They do cremate, or if they're on planet, they have something like that there. But they give the body release. They give the energy that creates the body release from the material part of the body after death. They do it very quickly. And that's an understanding of how energy works. There are no embalmings, there's no burials or anything like that. So.
Yeah, from what I've been able to understand, that's exactly right. ETs have a very advanced understanding of other dimensions. Death is just a transition. They absolutely know this. For them, it's not a big deal. And in fact, when they're born, they can even bring back the memories of their past lives much more easily than we can. So it's not a big deal at all. It's us who make a big deal out of death. And I think we're learning, even here, that it's not as big a deal as we might think it would be.
Yeah.
it's certainly interesting. People have seen deceased loved ones on board UFOs, by the way, a few times. ETs will facilitate a meeting between a living person and a deceased person.
Right.
So
I'll give you, for instance, half of my relatives still talk to me from the other side. I'm never alone. They're always with me, you know? And it's just as natural as being for me. I can contact them when they want. They contact me when they want. And the information that we release to one another is different than if it would be in the body. But still, you know, there's communication going on. So, okay.
all right. Yep. These are good questions, guys. Thank you. And if we haven't gotten to your question, I'm taking them in order. So, all right. Daniel Nordine. Greetings, Preston and Dolly from East Tennessee. Question, Dolly. Can you comment on the propulsion method? Is it counter-rotating mercury toroidal fields inducing a strong electromagnetic field that can overcome gravity?
No, and that wouldn't be propulsion either. That would be anti-grav. That would be levitation, not propulsion. Propulsion is when you use atmosphere to propulse yourself through the atmosphere. Okay, and it's not anti-grav. It's you're using the air and a winged vessel propulsing through the air, like a boat in the air. Only it's got wings, and you can use the air currents to hold you up or bring you down. ET does not use propulsion of any kind. They don't use rotating either. What they do use is a gravitational or graviton energy that they create from very high electrical outputs. And they use a type of nuclear fuel that creates this electrical current that's so high it becomes a graviton wave. And they have little emitters that the wave goes through, and they create a bubble of energy, directed bubble of energy, gravitational wave energy to seal the inside and skin of the craft. And then there's another one on the outside of that to protect it from incoming space objects and stuff, or going through light gates. And then there's another small field. I have a small field graviton generator around the actual source of the fuel itself. And that's to protect them if it blows. I've never heard of it happening, but every now and then when I hear about a crash, I think, did it happen? I don't know. Yeah, so they protect themselves. They also use batteries. All craft have battery banks that can hold graviton wave energy. And when they come in from light gating in outer space, you know, when they come through, they can't be in full power. It's too dangerous for us. It would burn up half the planet. Everywhere they went, they scorched the earth. So they go to gravity and battery power. It's less radiational but it's still graviton energy, and they can do the same maneuvering inside our magnetospheres. That's how it works.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Next question is from Texas Cacti. Where's Duchess? Almost got you to do a spit take there, Dolly. She's on the couch asleep. We were out of town, so she was in a kennel. And
comes home and goes into a coma. She was in the for 4 days, and she's like very happy there, and she gets to run around like a crazy person, and she has all this energy and fun. And did she come?
Yeah.
Hi,
Duchess. Hey, baby, come here, girl. I tell you, this dog, you can't.
There she is.
Here's our baby. 140 pounds or 50.
160, yeah.
Oh, girl, you're famous. You're on TV now. Or not TV, but you're on our show. I tell you, she's psychic. We didn't call her. I guess just saying her name was enough, huh?
Yeah.
She's in the other room. All right. Well, here's Duchess. Thank you, Texas Cat.
There she is. Yeah.
All right. Moving along. Let's see. Just a reminder that it's open mic night. You can do your questions. And at the top of the hour, in just a few minutes, we'll be doing the book giveaway contest. And I'll announce how that works in just a second. Okay, moving along.
Oh, I want to bring up something real quick. No, there is no alien base at Skinwalker Ranch.
No, I don't think so. There's weird activity there, but it's been taken over by the military-industrial complex to steer a narrative. I thought the show was kind of interesting in the beginning, but stopped watching it because I just didn't feel like it was fully trustworthy, and some of the folks there,
Right.
I don't know. I read the book. I watched some of the show.
Okay, can I talk about something real quick?
Yeah.
If I hear one or see one more thing about Three-Eye Alice, I might have a heart attack. I don't like the narrative talking points that they use. They talk about it as if it's doing something. They overwhelm people with this talking that makes them think that things are not normal with it. Wrong. It's perfectly normal. It's a comet. It's mostly planetary material, and it's doing its thing, and it's not coming back here. It's on a trajectory to go away from us. It has no elliptical orbit with it whatsoever. And why they keep using these narratives and saying these things is annoying, because it takes you all away from the absolute truth of what's really going on, minus that stupid comet. It's gone. Let it go. Leave it alone. It's not an alien. It's not coming back for you. Aliens don't travel in conventional space. Please don't give it notice. As a matter of fact, you need to click on the thing that says not interested. If y'all could please start doing that so they'd shut up, because it's not true. Anything they're saying is absolutely incorrect and not true. The way they talk about it, I mean, I could say, oh, I've had this. I don't even want to go there. I'm not going to go there. I could become really repulsive, and I'm not going to do that. And it is repulsive to me to read their rhetoric. It's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
I don't think Atlas is anything other than a natural object for a number of reasons, which we've actually talked about several times. Right. ETs don't travel that way. They don't. It doesn't. There's many, many reasons why this could not possibly be ET.
Now, what we do have, and you need to pay attention to what I say. There is an asteroid out there that they know about that is probably going to hit our moon somewhere around between 2029 and 2032, depending on what it does before it gets here, how it's affected by space incoming. If it hits the moon, the moon is a solid object, okay? It's solid. If it hits the moon, it's going to eject stuff off the moon, and it'll shoot it into our gravitational pull, and it'll circle our planet, only it's going to hit it right in our asteroid, in our satellite area, okay? It'll destroy every satellite we have. It's about 7 years away, and they are frantic to stop it. That's why Avi Loeb is talking the way he is. Avi Loeb is a good astrophysicist, apparently, and he wants the contract, pretty much, I'm believing it, to deal with this thing. And so they're creating a narrative to make you think all kinds of things, because it also goes with their stupid false flag. They're going to nuke it. That's what I hear. Okay. Bad choice, but if you don't want to lose every satellite you've got something that's about to hit the moon and it's incoming, and you've been watching it for years, they're pretty much going to come to that conclusion. I guarantee you within the next year or so, you will absolutely know what I know about it. And you can look it up now, though, and try to figure it out. It's very I will tell you, if you know a physicist or an astronomer, who lives near you, if there's a planetarium or whatever, go find you one that's private and not funded, and talk to them about it and say, is there an asteroid that's really going to hit the moon? And you'll get your answer. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Next question is from Emily Howard. Where would a rotating pyramidal UFO be from? Here, probably, right?
Yeah.
One of our own.
Yes. Earlier prototypes, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my assessment too.
Engine stuff. Yep.
Michael Schratt is our local expert on reverse engineered and advanced secret ET craft. I'm pretty sure he would say that too. All right. Santra Rebels has another question. Hello from Germany. Thanks for joining us tonight, Santra. Love you too. Question: do parallel lives exist, meaning other versions of yourself living on different timelines? I've looked into this because there's some channelers who talk about this. I don't find the stories persuasive. I think in your own mind, you can imagine variations, but as far as another you living in another parallel timeline, I don't have any good evidence to support that really whatsoever. But we are eternal beings. We will have many opportunities to live many different lifetimes in many different ways as many different people and fulfill every imaginable situation, everything we ever want to learn. So I think some memories can sort of hint to that, because we have lived a very long time before this lifetime. But I don't know. What do you say, Dolly?
You can't live in the third dimension here and have some other part of yourself living in a different timeline. There's no such thing as a different timeline. It doesn't exist. There's only one timeline where you are, where you're at now. The only thing that I could tell you that might be where people get this idea from, and it has nothing to do with timelines. It has to do with consciousness. Your consciousness is being projected out. It's projected out into this body, and you're still in source at the same time. Like you're connected to your body, you're also connected to source consciously. Okay. And in source, your consciousness is capable probably of going out into a different place and experiencing something at the same time you're experiencing it here. But it's not your physical body doing it consciously, it's your consciousness doing it from source. And that has nothing to do with timelines. There is no time. There is no, none of that in source. It's a complicated concept. I understand it, but it's really hard for me to explain it to you. It's like this. Consciously, you can think of three things at one time. You can simulcast in your mind and, selectively do three things at one time. And in source, your consciousness is capable of doing that too. It can pay attention to all kinds of things while it's there, even though it's here with you here, because you're coming out. It's just one point of how your consciousness operates. But it has, again, nothing to do with timelines, nothing at all. You cannot change or move timelines in this space that you're at. Every choice you make is exactly what it is, and it is.
That's the present moment. That's where you're at.
Yeah.
All right, guess what? It's the top of the hour. It's time to do the book giveaway. There's going to be 3 winners of the book, Undersea UFO Base, which is an in-depth study of USO activity off the Santa Catalina Channel, and it has other USO cases in it. There's a lot of interest in USOs. And for those of you who've watched the show before, we do a little contest where you guess a number between 1 and 1,000. I know that's a lot of numbers, but we got a lot of people watching. This contest is only open to those live viewers. So if you're catching the replay, I'm so sorry. We will announce the winner just before we close the show. And I've got the secret number, so you can now start giving your guesses. A number between 1 and 1,000. One guess only. One guess only. One guess only. You can't guess 2 or 3 times. You only get one guess. Just want to repeat that because I've had a few of you give multiple guesses. So yeah, that's the book giveaway. Guess your number between 1 and 1,000. You have about 50 minutes to do it, a little less. And I will start looking at these numbers that are streaming in at high speed while I give Dolly the next question. Dolly, why do aliens make crop circles? Charlie C. Third wants to know. And I'm going to be busy right now.
It's a really interesting thing. It's a way to leave a physical message in plain view of everybody and everything. And the medium they use, the wheat fields, the crop fields, is incredible. It's undeniable when it happens. And there is a way to tell which one is real and which one isn't because of the way the stems break, whether they're boiling at the breaks or whatever. They know that the energy changes the stem as it bends over. Many of us have been asking question after question after question, and we'll send mental messages to them, or scientists, since the 1950s have been broadcasting all of these things. Will you tell us this? Will you tell us that? Because they do not have direct contact with ET. This is the only way they're going to get information from ET, pretty much. Okay. All these stories about them having something to do with governments and things like that are completely wrong. That is the military industrial complex messing with you. Not ET won't touch anybody. The only time that I know of where they actually had contact with anybody was when Eisenhower was brought into their contact with them. And there were other world leaders at the same time as it happened to ask them to stop using nuclear, that it was going to destroy us all and it was going to cause problems for us at a certain time when it was apparently going to become critical mass for us, and all these plants all over the planet and all these bombs that we have, we needed to give ourselves a chance to evolve and elevate ourselves so that we could make some really serious critical decisions for ourselves. And nobody listened, and Eisenhower couldn't help it. As a matter of fact, Eisenhower, in his farewell address to him, after his presidency, brought up the military industrial complex and warned everybody it's already almost out of control. You need to stop it now. We need transparency. We need the truth to come out. And it never happened. And because they were already in that much control. Many crop circles answer scientific questions. Many crop circles answer certain specific astrophysicists. I'll give you one, Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan sent Voyager out and they had a plate on it, a template. Well, they had a record and then they had a plate. And on the plate, it showed where we were in the universe, our solar system, third planet from the sun, male and female. And it begged the question, who are you? How to do? This is us. Who are you? And they sent back an answer. They absolutely answered him. I know that Carl Sagan did not openly discuss ETs with people. He was heavily funded, and he was pretty much gagged about a lot of things. But I think that in the back of his mind, with that answer, he was more than happy to know that they were going to answer. Too many people have tried to fake crop circles, and it's really easy to tell the difference. So of all the crop circles there are, I'm going to tell you probably about 70% of them are real and the other 30% are not. And you just have to know what to look for when you're looking at it and what it means. Most of the crop circles that are ET driven are mathematical in nature and answering real serious questions for scientists and astronomers and astrophysicists. So that's what they are. Preston,
right.
You got somebody? I don't know what the number was. You didn't tell me.
No, I didn't have time. Sorry, I was rushing. So
okay.
You can't. Dolly, Charlie C. Third also wants to know, can you do a barrel roll in a UFO?
Yes, sure can. What approximates a barrel roll? Yes. Yep. We can flip, flop, fly, skim, skip. We can do anything in them. Anything, any maneuver we can. If we've learned how to do it, you bet we can do it. How about that?
All right.
There's nothing we can't do. Nothing. I'm not kidding around. It's almost too much. How do I put this? When I was young, I had to control myself a little bit. I let myself go once and realized that, there's a reason why we have to really, pay attention to what we're doing and stay within the parameters of our training and not go hog wild, because it's too easy to do. And I scared the dog out of somebody one night. I'm pretty sure that the seat in their car was all wet. And it was in Indiana, by the way. And I regretted doing it because I was picking up on what this person was thinking, and I felt terrible, really, really terrible. And I can't tell you more than that because I'm waiting for them to come forward someday, and there are particulars about this particular evening that only that person would know, and I hope they do, And it was back in the 80s when it happened. I'm not going to say what year specifically, but in the 80s. And we can do anything we want. We can dog fight better than the dog fighters here. We can gang up too. We can cover all parts of the plane, under the wings, above the cockpit, below the tail, above the tail, on two on each side like this, and stay with it all the way through. They can't get rid of us because we know what you're going to do before you even think to do it. That's how fast we think, and that's how fast we can maneuver and react to you. So, okie doke.
All right. I think I've got some winners here, but it's still time to give a guess on a number between 1 and 1,000. One guess only.
Did anybody hit it right on?
I'm not saying.
Ooh.
Not yet.
Okay.
But we've got some people who, whoever comes closest
Okay.
gets the book. One guess only. A number between 1 and 1,000. We'll reveal the answer.
Now, is it just one book you're giving away or three?
No, there'll be 3 winners.
3 winners. Okay.
You already have the book. You can
pick another.
You can pick another.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my answer is why ETs do crop circles is just to get us thinking and to announce their presence and to import knowledge to us. Pretty much what Dolly was saying. But so I agree if that's what you said, but I was kind of busy.
Yes, it is.
As far as ETs doing barrel rolls or Dolly in a UFO, of course. Have you seen these things maneuver? Oh my God. Okay. Carl Mids, what do you think about this metallic orb that's floating around? The one the guy tried to drill into? Are you talking about the Boogosphere?
The Boogosphere.
Don't think that. Dolly made a good point. It's got resin in it. When do ETs put resin on the outside of the craft?
Nope.
The Betz-sphere, B-E-T-Z. Look that up. I think that probably is ET. I asked Dolly about that, and she's like, yeah, that looks like one of their pieces of technology.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some of the stuff is probably our own orbs, or what do you call them?
Yeah.
Drones.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Moving along. Free market gold. Question for Preston and Dolly. What do you think of Reiki? I had my first session with it, and it was surprising how much it connected to what I'm doing and feeling. All right. You want to field that one, Dolly? While I take another look at the numbers coming in.
Reiki is you using your abilities to manipulate the energy of a person's body to help them heal. My daughter is a Reiki master, and she is really good at it. I've never learned Reiki. I don't really need it to work it because I'm already advanced enough to heal without it. But yeah, it has to do with your energy and psychically working with the energy that you got and drawing energy to it or taking it away, manipulating it so that you heal, to help you facilitate healing. And yeah, it's a real thing. It's like everybody thought acupuncture was a hoax. Okay. No, it actually works with your nervous system. Reiki masters have to spend about 2 or 3 years learning their thing, and they take many tests, and they have to prove that they can do it, before they master it. And it's very cool.
Oh, your sound went out. Did you unplug? Because yeah, your sound's out. I'm not sure what's going on. No. All right. Well, while Dolly's working on that, I will say that Reiki is absolutely a real thing. In fact, Barbara Lamb has some contactees who were taught Reiki. Little kids even came home, and their mom asked, "What are you doing?" Said, "Oh, the ETs taught us how to do this." Coming back from an encounter, many people get very interested in hands-on healing, Reiki healing, and this whole deal. So I think there is a connection there. Oh no, Dolly, no. Unmute mic. Your mic is muted, by the way. So,
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, you were there for a second. Now you're gone. So maybe come in and out of StreamYard. I don't know. Check your connections. Freaking me out. Better not be the secret government trying to do something on us.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep talking.
They're trying to knock me out tonight. They don't want to hear what I have to say. Okay. They don't want you to hear what I have to say. I'm walking a thin line these days. Okay. Real thin.
Good.
Okay.
That's good. All right. Keep your guesses coming if you haven't guessed yet. Number between 1 and 1,000. Looks like we got 3 people who are going to win. So still time. All right. Next question. We're Who are the underground ant people? I just watched something from JP for the first time. Not sure who JP is, but maybe you can let us know, Emily. I do know that the ant people is sort of a Native American oral tradition or history of ETs that lived under the Colorado sand dunes in that area. And probably at that time, they were, I don't know. All I know is this is a Native American sort of, I don't want to call it
It goes
completely
way back. They're
Yeah.
not here now. They don't exist now. And it's another iteration of people who were trying to show them how to live underground to protect themselves when things happened. And like I said, it's more than 12,000 years ago. And it's lore, and it may have changed. And then, in other words, it may not be exactly correct, So.
People are talking about healing and alternative healing. It's a big part of what ETs actually teach people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, acupuncture can actually help you control pain while they try to heal your gallbladder. Because it can get infected. 9 times out of 10, that's why they have to remove your gallbladder, because you've got too many stones and it gets infected and it's just off the charts and there's nothing you can do. They can do gallbladder surgery that's less invasive. Or they can give you, it's sort of like, bust up the pieces that are in there, like your kidney stones, break them up and you pass them through, your gallbladder over time with antibiotics. So yeah, absolutely it helps you to get over it. Yep.
Yeah, acupuncture is one of the leading treatments for arthritis in Eastern countries, even today.
Yep.
All right. First timer here. Micree Repair 1226.
Nice.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, your question is, do you think ETs are our guardian angels? I wouldn't put it that way. I think it's been perceived that way by some people, and there are accounts of people who perhaps thought that they were being visited by guardian angels and healed or had their lives saved, when it may have been an ET. It may have been what you might better term a fifth dimensional entity. Having researched angelic beings and demonic beings, I do believe they exist. There's some controversy about exactly their provenance, who they are, where they come from. But I don't know that I would call ETs angelic any more than I would call them demonic. But they absolutely will help people in many, many ways in terms of healing, saving their lives, providing information that will save their lives or set them on the right path, and do all the things that we kind of ascribe to angels. What say you, Dolly?
They are our progenitors. We are related to them. They're us. We are them. We are all one. And they watch over us from that perspective. We were put here for a reason. We're here to learn. We're here to evolve in the condition that we're in. And it's a school, literally a school. And they are sort of overseers, or not overlords. They just watch us, okay, and hope that we make contact with them and can try to reach them on their own level. Now, those are the third dimensional ETs we're talking about, like the Greys and the Nordics, Tall Whites, those guys. Then there are the fifth dimensional ETs, who are light beings. They have no corporeal bodies. They're light beings. And they can come in and make you think you're seeing angels. And then there's ETs who live between the fourth and the fifth dimension, where we're almost into the fourth. We're kind of living in the fourth dimension ourselves from the third. And every now and then you're able, with your psychic ability, to see them. They just show up and go, whoa, who are you? And if they're following your life because they live in the same dimensional space with you, they will try to intervene and help you from time to time. And that's where guardian angels came from. That's where they were believed, that's what they were seeing. They were making up lore about it or trying to explain it to themselves, through religion, what they really are. But it's a dimensional being just outside this dimension that you can actually interact with if you're psychic enough to do so, or it wants really bad to help you, and boom, there you go. Hope that helped.
All right. Hold on.
By the way, shadow people are second dimensional beings. Black, matte, black, their shadow, that's a second dimensional being. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Dorsey Bitzel is asking, do you feel that being an experiencer makes you special, or does the lack of an experience make you special, being that it happens so frequently? I'm going to say a big no to that.
Correct. More special. I'm just like y'all. I'm on a different evolutionary timeline than you are. In other words, I'm evolving differently than you right now. My experiences have afforded me to move through to wisdom in certain areas that you're not catching up with me. But that makes me responsible for y'all. Okay. That makes me responsible for my love for humanity. That makes me responsible for my love for my brothers and sisters here. And that means that I'm going to open my mouth and teach you what I know, because it's not fair for me to be operating at this level while you're not catching up with me. This makes me an honest to gosh bona fide teacher for you. And a good teacher will tell you, I'm going to teach you how to teach yourself. I want you to learn everything and own the experience and the knowledge and be able to employ it so that wisdom does happen for you. And so I'm just giving you information that you can use for yourself and you can learn from it for yourself. Don't believe everything I say. Just go learn, listen to what I say, and then prove it right or wrong through your own experience. That's what we're here. This doesn't make me special. It makes me responsible. It makes me, I have to respect the fact that you're here with me, and I respect everybody here. I respect you. That's what love does. It makes me want for you to catch up with me. That's what ET wants of us. They want us to catch up with them. See how that works?
Yeah, every single one of us is equal in the eyes of the universe. We're all an integral part of the universe. We all have all the power of the universe within us. Kind of look at people like flowers. Some are blooming right now, some aren't. We are all seeking different experiences.
Different levels, that's right.
We all have different reasons for coming to Earth, but generally it's to gain wisdom and learn about things. So,
know all that is knowable. Yeah.
It's some people's life path to have really extensive contact. Some it's not. It's to have just a little bit of contact. Some are busy doing other things. But ultimately, we are all absolutely connected. And as the ET say over and over again, I am you, you are us, we are one. So no, we're all special, equally special, I think.
Yes.
My opinion. All right. Charlie C. Third. Charlie C. Third. This is an interesting one. Because when jets fly past the speed of sound or the sound barrier, they have a cone of vapor.
Yeah.
He's asking, have you seen any leading edge vapor cones when flying a UFO?
No, we don't produce that. We are literally flying in a different environment than an airplane or a jet. We don't disturb the air. We go through it. We're already dimensional. Once we lift off the ground, we're already halfway through a dimensional shift. And so there's no air cones. There's no disturbance in the water vapor in the air itself. There's no sonic booms. You won't hear any of that with us. We're not here. We're here and we're not here when we're doing what we do.
All right. Okay. Charlie C. Third has another question. And I think this is going to be interesting, Dolly. Why do aliens say not to fear death, but go to great lengths to extend their species a few more generations with human genetic engineering? They don't. They're not doing that. I have no evidence of that.
That's disinformation and misinformation. Absolutely, positively no. They're not trying to make themselves live longer. One of the reasons that we don't live as long as we do is because we have viruses here. Way back when we first came here, there weren't hardly any viruses to affect us, and we lived to be 800 years old. I mean, there's stories about it, okay? But we're not so smart about our environment, and we helped cause 90% of our problems where viruses are concerned. And so we are where we are, and we can't really make it out of the hundreds at all. And that's on us, not ET. There's no biological perfect thing that you could do. There's no way to eradicate a virus. Once it gets into the environment, it's here for whatever reason it is. Funny thing is, every 12,000 years, our Earth goes through a cycle where it kind of eradicates all that stuff, and we start over again. We leave and we come back, and so that's sorry, they don't breed for that. That's misinformation and disinformation. ET live on worlds where there are no viruses, and they can live into the thousands. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Okay.
Yeah, all entities, I think, take steps to increase their lifespan to the ability that they can. And ETs are going to do what they can too, in terms of diet and exercise and keeping fit and choosing the right path.
Their environment and using things that will damage their body. Yeah.
But no, I have no evidence that they're using human genetics to increase their own lifespan.
Yeah.
They're upholding our genetics. I think that's one of the reasons people are being taken on board, and they protect their own genetics, certainly.
Yeah.
But we're all humans. We've all got genetics. Everything, all life has genetics throughout the universe.
Right.
So I think there's truth in that. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Oh no, and I don't think they fear death either. They're okay with it. And I think we should be too, because death is not something to be feared. It's actually a very healing experience. And when you go to the other side, it's the greatest place ever.
Yeah.
No rush to get there.
One of the things that I try to tell people, you need to think this one through, clearly think this one through. Do everything you can every minute of your life to be happy, whole, and enjoy while you're here. Leave nothing no stone unturned, leave no regrets, nothing. So whatever moment you're in, you're at the moment where walking through is not a big deal to you. Be ready, always be ready for that which comes for you, whether you're going to go out of the body and go on or whatever. If you're too busy worried about what death is going to bring you, you're not living your life. Stop. It doesn't matter. We all have a number of days. That's it. One day more is not going to happen. You have to come to that number. And when you do, bloody be ready for it. And that means don't think about it 10,000 ways from heck and back. Don't plan on it. Don't do anything. Live every day to the fullest you can. That way, when it does come, you go, woo, because you're not going to know. You're not going to know. Trust me. It's one of those things where it just happens, and you're, some people who are sick get a warning, they get some time, but they're already trying to leave when that happens. People who are coming to the transition in that way are already half gone anyway. And they're just waiting for the body to dump so that they can finish the transition. There's a million different ways to leave here. Make sure that you're happy before that happens. That's all. Don't plan for it. Don't worry about it. Give up thinking that stuff. It's wasting your time. It stops you from living your life, period. Right? Okay.
Clark says, our spirit is eternal. So that should remove all fear.
Yeah.
It really should. And you can actually learn that firsthand by doing astral projection. If you want to learn how, I can teach you. I'll send you a little guide. Here, I'll put up my email. Just send me an email and I'll send you a guide on how to do it. It's not that hard.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Now let's move along. We still got like 30 questions. Okay. Santra Rebel. Question, is there a portal in the mountains of Machu Picchu? I once astral projected there and saw a place that looked like a portal. The powerful feeling I had while it was active was unforgettable. I don't have evidence of that. Astral projection is really cool because you're in the other dimension there and there's stuff going on that you can't see, perhaps in the third dimension. Certainly that seems to be a really sacred place for that culture. There must be a reason for that. I don't know that there would be a portal there. I can't really speak to that.
Remember when I told you about there's an anomaly in South America right now, in the South Atlantic? And people perceiving these as portals, they're not. There's no such thing as a wormhole that you can go through. It's not a portal. A portal means door, right? A doorway. While you're in the physical 3D world, you can, in your conscious, and you're seeing things as it is. You see energy fluctuating all around you. You see energy incoming. And it's really hard to understand what you're looking at unless you have all knowledge for it. In other words, totally understand what you're seeing. So humans have a tendency to explain it one way. And if you've heard about it explained that way, you're going to go in that direction. You're going to implant that into your brain, and that becomes a belief for you. It's not pure knowledge. It's not fact. It's just that's what your belief is. I'm telling you, there are no portals, in fact, in this planet that you can physically walk through. The only way you're going to go anywhere is if you're in command of your body and your energy and you teleport it yourself. Okay? You're capable of that. You're capable of taking yourself out and moving somewhere else. You're capable of OBE. You're capable of, remote viewing. You're capable of a lot of things. You have the energy to do what you need outside this body, and or even take the body with you. Okay, so no portals. What you're looking at is energy incoming from the universe itself, our sun and everything else, and the fact that our magnetosphere is going down and people are seeing and feeling things that are just really, really weird. When we have a CME coming in, y'all need to pay attention to how that feels to you, because it can affect your heart, it can affect your mind, it can affect you physically, it can make you sick as a dog and throw up, it can do all kinds of things to you. And people are so busy doing other things, knowing that we have that energy coming in on us and paying attention to what it's doing to you, that you think all kinds of things that are not true. Don't do that. Learn as much as you can. Pay attention. Do Ben Davidson, do his, playlist.
It's fine to have beliefs, but learn to separate beliefs from knowledge.
From knowledge, right?
Knowledge comes from experience almost exclusively.
And so you are capable of everything that you need to do. You're the one who's operating it, nothing else. You're here for a reason. You're here. This is a classroom. You can walk out the door anytime you want to. Or if it's, destined for you to do so, you can OBE, you can do anything. That's you are already living extra dimensionally. You. Okay. The body's just a physical thing that's here. Okay. That's it.
All right. Last announcement about the book giveaway. If you haven't put your guess in yet, one number between 1 and 1,000, one guess only. This will be the last announcement. We'll be announcing who won the book shortly. I do have 3 people who looks like they're going to win unless someone gets a better guess. And again, one guess only. So we'll see. Okay. There you go, Rad Thad. We'll see who wins the book.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
All right. Charlie C. Third has definitely sucked some questions in, but we're gonna go through these fast, Dolly, because we don't want to run out of time. Some of these are really good questions. But he's asking, what was that theta wave train device you used from your teacher that helped you remember your alien contact experience? It was a biofeedback machine, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't theta, it was alpha. And it was me going into alpha that ran the train. The energy of my brain translated to the mechanism that ran the train. It flipped a switch at alpha from my brainwave to the electricity that ran the train. And it didn't make me remember anything. I already remembered I had a migraine at the time from remembering, and I was trying to figure out how not to have the migraine anymore. I was overwhelmed, and my teacher was trying to do biofeedback, as Preston stated, to get me to calm down and lower the amount of headache that I had, because it was bad. It was crushing me. I mean, I actually walked out of school. I just left and started for home because I was that, from it. So
you can get these kinds of devices online. They're still available. I don't know if there's a train one, but absolutely get one. And they do work. They're very cool to play with. Okay. 3 Half Shadows is asking, our planet is too toxic. Do ETs need special training to come to Earth?
Well, to do anything they do, they train. So that's on the table already. I mean, I had to have special training just to learn how to fly with them. And I had training how to deal with people here when we're in contact. And I had training for this, that, and the other. And yes, our planet is toxic and I have to live here with y'all. And so I do things that kind of help me protect myself.
What about the ETs? Do they?
They mostly only send the little ET AI guys, the biological AI. They're the ones that are coming here, not the other ones. The other ones, if you see them on board. Very rarely will one come down, and it's probably a hybrid because they can handle the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. It's toxic here. And most ETs won't live 5 minutes past stepping on the ground and breathing our air. It will kill them dead. So, yeah. They're also germaphobes. They don't want our germs. They won't come here for that reason. There's no training for that. Germs are germs. So, Yeah, not good. It's really not good. Okay.
Can you imagine going to school to come to Earth? That doesn't surprise me. All right. I love this next question from CSD UFO Updates. Do you think ETs have pets?
Yes, they have pets. Of course, they have pets. They have animals like we do, and a lot of our animals are the same animals that they have. We're universal through the universe. We're all humanoid. We all have. It's diverse, and most planets can't survive without some sort of form of food to feed the people that live on it. That's the way it works. And yes, they have animals. Doggone do. As a matter of fact, when they come to pick everybody up eventually, they're going to let you take your pets. No cows and no horses, but probably birds, dogs, and cats, maybe an iguana or something like that,
Well, I've certainly got many indications.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ETs do care for animals. There's a lot of reporting on that.
Yes, they do. My dog went with me on board. That's, saying a lot. Okay.
All right. Now we're going to move to a somewhat controversial aspect, and that is DMT. Mick Repair is asking, will DMT allow me to access ET? And my answer would be, no, I don't recommend it. There's not an experience you can have that you can't do without drugs through meditation. And I think this is my personal assessment. I don't think drugs are a good idea. I think that ultimately what people are doing is hallucinating. And I know there's some real pushback on various kinds of drugs that people are using these days. I'm seeing, quote, mantis beings and all this. I don't recommend it. I think, from what I've been able to research, no, this is not a good tool to use to get ET contact.
I would like to give you a physical understanding of the process of what drugs do to you.
Quickly, Dolly, because we got a lot of questions.
Right. This one's important. This one is absolutely important. I don't want you using that drug for a reason. Okay, no drugs. The cleaner your body is, the better it is. You can't use your abilities or your pineal gland if your physical mind is effed up. Okay, you just can't do it. You can't. Your consciousness is using your brain to operate so that in the body it sees and feels and experiences everything here. That's why you have consciousness and you're indwelling your body. Okay, if you chemically mess this up, you lose the connection to who you are. You lose it, absolutely lose it, and you go inward. You're only circling around in your own brain pan when it happens, and you're dreaming all kinds of stuff. Your physical mind can't get out because the wire, the connection, your pineal gland cannot no longer transmit out or receive signal from who you are. This is exactly what you're doing. That's why the bloody governments of the world want you drugged up so that you can't use your abilities. Stop it. Just stop it. Okay, do not mess with your physical body. It's another way to toxify yourself so you can't use your abilities. Period. The end. Stop it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I know you guys are asking what is the winning number and who won the book. We'll be announcing that in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
But we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
Okay, here we go to the next question. 3 Half Shadows is asking, do you have any book recommendations on psychic or energy development? Oh gosh, there's a lot of information out there. My own book on how to astral project, I think, is one. I don't want to toot my own horn, but any book on astral projection. Robert Monroe, William Buhlman are 2 of my favorite authors. There's a lot of people out there teaching astral projection. I think it's a great way.
Yeah, I want y'all to think about Russell Targ. Go read his stuff. Oh my God. The boy knows what he's talking about. And he's like 88 or 89 years old now. Please do it before he passes away. You can run him a letter. He might write you back. Your psychic ability is there for you to use right now. You just need to learn how to train it yourself. And that's what Russell Targ teaches. Once your psychic ability is munching up and you're able to do it, you're going to simultaneously amp the ability to OBE, to remote view, to use psychometry, to levitate, all that stuff. It plays into it, but you have to learn how to do it again because you weren't able to teach yourself in the manner you should have when you were little coming up. And
yeah, it's all about meditation. Yeah. I'm going to have to write a book on it because there are a lot of books out there. There's no secret to meditation. It's just really ultimately relaxing and quieting the mind. So read all you can on it, and ultimately I think you find your own method that works best for you. Because walking in nature does it. Swimming, listening to music,
or playing games, psychic games. Go get the cards, the color and the squiggly lines and all that stuff. Keep a notebook, write down when you're doing it right. Play with others, have parties of it where you sit for hours and you just pretend. You don't pretend, you practice being psychic together and you keep score. Make yourself learn how to do it. It's like riding a bike. You got to get on, you got to pedal, right? Well, you have to get on board with what you are, who you are, and how you operate. And practicing and absolutely doing psychic things means you have to do psychic things. So practice.
Okay. All right. We got some great questions. Let's try to get through them all because they're still stacking up. Charlie C. Third, is a UFO a flight hazard, or do they have safeties built in to prevent collisions? I did a whole study of all the UFO literature, and I found maybe a smattering of 5 or 10 cases where UFOs struck an automobile or a plane. And no, they're not a flight hazard, despite what our own governments are putting forth on this, of them flying in our airspace and yada, yada, yada. No, they know when planes are coming miles away. They're not a flight hazard, in my opinion.
Don't worry about it. The only crashes that happen are because the magnetosphere is messed up, and it's been for the last 100 years, and they crash because of that. And most pilots are really pretty good at not crashing. If it does happen, I mean, how many times have you heard 50 people were killed because a UFO landed on a hospital? Don't worry about it. Right.
All right. Love this question from Bob Thorson about UFO windows. They are sometimes shown as small portholes and other times as wide viewing panels. Do you see these windows as fixed design features, or are they reconfigurable within the craft?
Yes, they are reconfigurable. They can open up any part of that craft they want to, when they want to, and how they want to. Yep.
Yeah, I had that experience, actually. They opened it up for me twice once I got to see the Milky Way, as we would think of it. Another time they showed that we were underwater. And they just opened it up, and you don't even see anything. It's like open air. It's amazing. So yeah, they can absolutely turn the entire craft transparent. We wrote about this in Symmetry. One lady saw the craft turn transparent, scared the living daylights out of her. She leapt back, fell on her ass, if I may say. So yeah, they can absolutely do that. That's a good question, because you do see these UFOs with portholes.
Yeah. First time it happened to me, I was a young kid, and the floor went out. I saw everything, and I went like that, and I was like, I said, "Don't worry about you not falling. It's okay." It took me a minute. Right. Yeah.
Here's a wonderfully cute and humble question from Chris Teen. She says, "I'm not a contactee, nor have I ever seen anything, nor is my family and non-military. Would ET even bother with a nobody quote like me? LOL. And if so, why?" You're not a nobody. Of course they would.
Sweetie, they know who you are. They really do. They know who everybody is. If you're born on this planet, they know who you are. Never doubt that for a minute. You are not forgotten. You're not noticed. You are noticed. They know who you are.
And the fact that you have an interest in this subject speaks volumes.
Right. You're trying to figure it out. It's okay. All right.
Yeah, you're probably a contactee, just saying. But I'd have to ask. I have a list of like 20 questions I ask contactees. If you want to determine whether or not you check all the boxes, I literally have a list so you can go through it, and that might help determine if you are a contactee. But like Dolly says, and I've heard this from other contactees, we are all known by them, and we've all had some level of contact. Sometimes, again, it's not our pathway in this lifetime to have direct contact and awareness and onboard experience.
You might not be here to do it. Yeah.
But all right. Charlie C. Third. Do ETs lose their hair from the strong electromagnetic fields inside the craft?
Yes. Why do you think the grays are bald? I'm lucky that I have hair on my head. It's very, very thin. I don't know if you know that it's very, very, very thin. And I'm lucky to have what I have. I take lots of collagen to help me keep it. The more I'm with them, the more it falls out. I have almost no body hair. Haven't had it since I was a kid. My friends hated me because I didn't shave, and I can't. You mean you can't even hardly see my eyebrows because they're just not there. There's not enough hair to do anything with anywhere on my body, and it being in that electromagnetic field, it just electrolyzes you. It comes out terribly, comes out, and it don't grow back. It's gone. So. Just so you know, the Anunnaki, you know, those beautiful hair things they got. You know how the Egyptians used to make those wigs that were braided and everything? The Anunnaki wore those too, especially the ones that were working with us the most. They went bald as well. Yep.
All right. I like that answer. Okay, we already answered this crazy cat. Do you think 3i Atlas is an alien probe? No, I don't. ETs can travel from other star systems in seconds. They're not going to be ambling along. And no, we're seeing a lot of stuff because we've got this new James Webb telescope, and we're seeing stuff we've never really noticed before. I think that's one of the reasons. And I think there's a disinformation ploy going on with that, honestly. No, I don't think it's ET.
Yeah.
Okay. Christine has another question. What are your thoughts on manifesting with the help of angels and or spirit guides for material things in life and or spiritual help?
Okay. Let's put aside all this terminology for 5 seconds, okay? Just leave it on the table, okay? Hear what I say clearly. Don't go there in your head while I'm talking about this. Hear what I say. Don't use those terms in your mind while you're thinking about what I say. You are 100% capable of bringing into reality anything you want. You do it in a bunch of ways. You plan, you think about it, you dream about it, you want it, you desire it. You start resourcing in the back of your mind, and you start observing everything around you, and you start looking for opportunities for this to accumulate in your life and become a reality for you. That is a type of manifesting where it's your ability, your power, your energy, drawing yourself to, going to what it is you want. This is how this works in the physical world. Nobody's going to give you what you want. You have to give it to yourself. Now, the universe hears you thinking and can facilitate energy with you. In other words, you draw the energy from the universe to get what you want, but it's still you working toward it. If you think, like, I'll give you for instance, okay? When I was a kid, I wanted a log cabin really bad. I wanted one. I wanted to live in one. I dreamt about it. I wanted one. My father drew me plans to build one. I have a cousin who builds log cabins, okay? I wanted a log cabin. And then one day I woke up and there it was for sale and I could get it. And guess what I did? I got my log cabin and I lived in it for almost 13 years. And I was happy as a cow, okay? Happy. It took me a lifetime to get to it, but I got it. And it's because that's what I wanted. And I had every opportunity to find it when I needed to find it, and I did. If you want something, it will happen for you because you're looking at it. You're sending your energy out to spot it, to see it. Your mind is already, radar is working 24/7. Like, whoop, there it is. Nobody gave it to you. You helped yourself resource to get what you want. That's how that works.
You're the ultimate force who creates things, but I do think we do have spirit guides out there and even ETs who will facilitate things to the extent that they can and sort of urging you in the right direction to perhaps meet somebody.
Yeah. In an emergency, I've seen people get rescued. No kidding. As a ER nurse, we have stuff come in all the time where it's totally unexplainable. How did that guy lift that car? Well, part of it was him, but he had somebody with him helping him jack it up to get it out of there. I've seen people live past the point of no return because they have energy coming from something else, like another being who's with them, holding them through. Because it's not
the way to manifest is through prayer, through intent, through imagination, through desire, through focus, through intention, wrapping it all together and not giving up and getting what you want. Right. Taking every opportunity
to do it.
Because that's what it really is. It's an awareness of an opportunity combined with all the practice.
I wish y'all would take the energy that works in getting what you want and actually using that to learn all you can learn. That works even better. Put your energy into that and see what happens to you. Yeah.
We love you, Christine. You're so okay. All right. We got to move through this fast now. True heart intent. Do ETs start to come out of your closet in the middle of the day? Yes, we talked about the closet thing. Yes. That does happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Charlie C. Third. What is the dye that glows under a black light on experiencers?
It's not really a dye. They
Wait.
When you're on board, you accumulate the dust, you accumulate the air, you accumulate, particles all over your body. Electromagnetic, changes the energy on your skin and stuff like that, and you kind of like you'll glow. It happens like every time I go to a bowling alley and I've had contact recent, I glow. I light right up. It's embarrassing, and it's because you've been in that environment and it just sticks to you. It's not a chemical or anything like that. It's just everything you're around, all that energy sticks to you, and black lights pick up on it.
All right. We're very close now to having to end the show. I think we can squeeze in 10 minutes, but we'll have to cut it very sharply.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go for 5 more minutes answering questions, and then I'm going to announce the winner. Question: is Earth really a prison planet? Anya Starseed wants to know. No, it feels like that, I think. But no, we can leave at any time we want. We come down here purposefully.
Right, that's somebody trying to make you afraid. Let it go. No.
All right. Timothy, any idea why I sometimes know events beforehand? I have never been contacted, but I remember, but I have several very vivid, repetitive dreams. It's a natural talent. Precognition, healing, mediumship, astral projection, past life recall. These are all things we can do normally, naturally. Even
You're born with
levitation.
the ability. You're absolutely born with the ability. You have all the equipment. You're on. So yeah.
Midnight Frequency Radio. Any thoughts on recent comments made by Richard Boylan? Don't know. I know who he is. He's one of the first to.
You have to tell us what he said.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to everybody. I haven't seen that one.
I know who he is. I've met him, so I'd be interested to know what he had to say. So if you want to pop that in chat, we'll try to get to it. Okay. Charlie C. Third. Why do UFOs absorb water on Earth? Is it for fuel, or do they need to replenish it? What's going on?
Every single thing needs water to exist, and those craft are biological entities. They are biologically built, and they need water to operate batteries. They need water to operate cooling and heating on board in the systems, and the occupants need to get water to drink, because all ETs have to drink water just like we do. Water is an important thing, and they don't absorb it. They actually bring it up and load it. So yeah.
Yeah. Many cases of ETs collecting water. Actually had a personal experience with that. Okay. Patsy. Hi, Patsy. Do different aliens contact a person for different reasons? I've had 3 experiences: reptilian, a gray, and a dark figure.
Yeah. Yeah. You come in contact with different people or entities for different reasons. Yep. You just answered your own question. You knew the answer to that. Okay.
All right. This is a nice question from 3 Half Shadows. And please be brief, Dolly. As a pilot, you must have seen some quite beautiful sights. What's your most beautiful experience?
Ooh.
Want to think about that for a second?
Watching a supernova.
Oh, very cool. We wrote about that in Symmetry, so check that out. I love that question, though.
That was crazy.
Imagine the things she's seen.
Good, and Jupiter being hit by Shoemaker Levy. That was cool as heck too, because I didn't expect it. It was amazing. I learned a lot from that one. Okay, it just amazed me. It broke up, and when it went in and what it did, and it was glorious. It was absolutely glorious.
All right, Bob Thorson asks, Preston, in childhood contact or bedroom visitation cases, have experiences or families ever described bedwetting occurring around the time of these events? Asking for a friend. Little laughing emoji. It comes up. It's not a direct correlation there. I think as little kids, sometimes trauma can cause bedwetting, but I wouldn't say that there's a direct correlation there. But yeah, I have heard that. That happened to one of the people in the Rua, Zimbabwe aerial elementary case. Following that experience with their UFO landings, they started bedwetting again. But
yeah, look up. It's not an emotional problem; it's a physical problem. Okay, it can become emotional if people don't react to it properly. Look up bedwetting and why it happens. It is an actual physical problem. Your bladder is immature. It hasn't gotten to the size that it should. When you're very upset, you squeeze down and you go to the bathroom no matter what you do. Fear is a big one. And if a kid's got a lot of fear in the middle of the night or he's having bad dreams, they can bedwet because their bladder is immature. And it takes some time for it to grow into its proper size and you gain control over it. Those are the only reasons. Okay? All right.
All right. Well, gosh, we're pretty much out of time. Let me see if I can squeeze in one more. Joe asks, is it hard to do astral travel? No, it takes some effort. Really, the only obstacles are fear, laziness, skepticism,
And giving up.
ignorance.
Yeah.
If you put the effort forth and you apply the knowledge, it's easy to do.
Yes.
Okay, I think that I'd love to answer more of these questions, but
you need to be able to do this now.
There's only a few of them. Like, when is the next CME? We don't really know.
We have CMEs almost every week. It just depends on what size they are. That's the problem. That's
what are your thoughts on Billy Meyer? I think he's a genuine contactee who's got some issues with his case and has put forth some false information, but ultimately is a genuine contactee. Do aliens not want us to eat meat?
No.
Not poisonous meat. But
we're carnivores, omnivores, and carnivores. We're mostly carnivores, and yes, you need meat. Period. Okay.
But not meat that's filled with hormones or anything like that.
Yeah, so, not tainted. Yeah.
All right. So Rocco is asking, what was the winning number, Preston?
There you go.
Texas Cacti. You're waiting for the amount. Mark should.
I know. I am too. Hey, you can tell me.
All right. The winning number is 883. And the person who came close is Rocco.
Hey, Rocco. All right.
Away. A few of you came pretty close. Johnny J, I'm sorry. Sally Forth, Go Alone, you just got edged out. So I'm pretty sorry, but Rocco is the closest. And after
Who's number
that,
two, number
I
three?
think it is Timothy Adams at 876. And Scott Wilkinson at 898.
Cool.
So a few of you came really close. Rocco, the closest, 5 away. Amazing. So yeah, you guys are the winners. Here, I'll pop up my email again. Email me. Let me know where to send the book. And I will send you a signed copy of Undersea UFO Base. If you already have the book, please feel free to pick another. Go to my website, prestondennett.weebly.com. I've got 32 books. You can certainly pick one, but beware that some are out of print. So I might not be able to send you, but should be able to.
Yeah, he's got copies of everything.
Those are the winners. Thank you so much, Rocco.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Timothy Adams and Scott Wilkinson. Amazing. So that's it for tonight. So I guess I'm just going to have to say goodbye at this point. Let's see. Well done, Rocco. 3.5 shadows. We need a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Rocco. Moonstone Foxy. Dang, I was the furthest away. Scott Wilkinson. Nice. Yeah, email me. Congratulations, Rocco. Tim Houston says thanks. There you go, Rocco. Congrats, winners. Walking Trees 3, heart. Wonderful show tonight. Congrats to the winners. This was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Thank you, everyone. Really glad you could join us tonight. I want to give a special shout out to you guys who helped donate, because we really couldn't do the show without you. We've said it a million times, but Sonny Burnett, Namaste, Bob Thorson, thank you. Thank you to every single one of you guys, because it's because of you we do this show, and we always have so much fun. We love doing this Q&A. We had a nice big crowd tonight, so thank you. And until next time, we will definitely be doing another Q&A.
I also like to tell everyone happy Hanukkah. It's that time of year. and it's in process right now. And we hope everyone has a really wonderful Hanukkah time. All right. Thank you all for watching The Light Gate. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. We are on Facebook, we're on Roku, we are on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. Everybody, please just have a wonderful, wonderful season. I know we're going to see you in 7 days just before Christmas, so that'll be cool. And I might wear a Christmas shirt. I might talk Preston into wearing one. Well, we don't know. I'm wearing reindeer today. I don't know.
We got to go, Dolly. We're at the limit.
Bye. I know. We love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.